All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm trying to squeeze in one more video. It's probably going to be less than 5 minutes if I do this well. All right, so if you've never seen these before, we're using 5 moving averages. I draw horizontal support and resistance lines, and then once we're done up here, we're going to jump into the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. I always ask if you can please subscribe, if you can share the video. It does wonders with the algorithms. All right, so. Um, GameStop is not looking as good as AMC, in my opinion, but neither looks fantastic. And truly, though I normally start up here, I want to start down here. Give me a second. Let me close my window. Sorry, 1 second. It's a little loud. Hey, sorry about that. So again, I normally do start up here, but I actually want to start down here when I compare the two of them, all right? And I'm going to zoom in just to get rid of these like bigger volume moments. GameStop is still pretty far from the 50-day volume line, all right? And if you've watched my golden rules of trading, I always say volume is king, volume is queen for my ladies out there. This thing is struggling just to get the average volume, right? When you go back and you count the last 50 days and then you divide it by 50, you take the average, you're going to find yourself that you should be around what's that number, 45 million shares. Like if we were in a classroom, you got to get at least 45 million just to get a C, just to be the average kid in the class. We are at F minus minus range right now at 12 million with GameStop. All right. When I look at AMC, it's not quite there, but we're closer, right? We're supposed to be a little closer to 33 million. Hey, 20 is not quite 33, but hey, it's a smaller gap than where we're at, right? I'm trying to do some quick math in my head to make sure that the percentages are correct, but at least visually, I can see we're a lot closer to hitting that than we are with game, right? So, yeah, I think the math works out very well in my head too. Okay, when we come up here, there's an interesting thing that I see today. All right, and let's start with the candle itself. All right, it's easy to see that this was a -2 day, right? We obviously closed up here. Let me zoom in. Sorry, we closed up here on Friday, and obviously we're down here as of today, right? But this is actually a decent candle. You can see that we open down here at 19 and actually go all the way up to 20. It's not, I think that's about a 5% gain right there, right? If $2 is 10%, about $1 is 5%, right? So more people actually might have made 5% today than they lost that, right? I think what's concerning is twofold, right? I'm seeing the moving averages come down. This 8 moving average has already death crossed and death crossed. We've seen that the 20 moving hasn't really done the death cross, but the 8's already starting to go down exponentially. The 8 is going to move 3 times faster than the 20, right? 8, 16, 24, so a little less than 3, right? But this thing is just coming behind it, and it seems like it's about to start moving down, right? When I look at the weekly as well, it's just the weekly has a pretty high RSI. The weekly just went to red over green, right? And really the weekly is like, this weekly is actually scaring me more than the daily. This is kind of telling me, look, the weekly has been as low as 17, and that was only a couple months ago. We're still at 50 something, right? So the average tends to be around this 50. Yeah, if we lose the 50, oh man, it's gonna be scary. And you can see we've actually been in this like 24-ish range on the weekly RSI, not like it's a pretty, even this 33 is a pretty common number. We hit it a bunch of times here and a couple times throughout, right? So the weekly makes me think it's not done. The weekly makes me think this thing is coming down to like 17 bucks, right? You can see the 50s at 1708, right? The daily is low. And believe me, a 9 RSI, that's a very, very low number. The problem is those are still diverging the wrong way. Like I'm seeing the green line want to keep going down, 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 not go back up, right? So though this is a 9, I'm not seeing the recovery come just yet on GameStop, right? When I look at AMC on the other hand, I don't even want to use the word on the other hand because again, it's still just as sketchy to me, right? But man, this thing's at least been able to basically stay horizontal on the 520 line. And look, I've always joked, if you want to stay horizontal, put your money in the bank, right? Like you'll have way less gray hairs worrying about the ups and downs, right? But I think given as bad as the market's been, especially what the last 3 weeks, right? The fact that AMC is staying horizontal isn't that bad. And the fact that it's staying horizontal while we look at this thing, right? Like just this entire time we've been under the 50-day average since the beginning of June, right? Like you rarely see a stock completely miss and completely stay under the 50-day volume line this long and stay horizontal. So the fact that it's had less than ideal volume but stayed, that's a decent thing to say, right? But I've been saying it for the longest. This 520 line is the money line, right? I'm seeing that this 200 moving average is coming down. The 200 is about to go under that 520. 520 is the only moment I would touch AMC, all right? When I look at the weekly, this isn't as bad a weekly as GameStop. Again, let's just look at GameStop real quick, right? GameStop has red over green. GameStop has red over green. That's not good. AMC is not fantastic, but hey, we've got green over red right here, and we actually have a nice little spacing on the green over red, right? Again, it's not fantastic, but I'll take it, right? Volume's actually been a little bit better too. Again, it's not magnificent, but again, volume's been, I'll take that back. There are less green days in here, but actually volume's been moderately okay. But yeah, overall, I would say between the two, AMC looks better. You know, this weekly chart is actually saying wait till 570. And maybe that's an interesting place to think. But yeah, I think at the bare minimum, this 520 line is going to be something. Hey, even going from 520 to 570 is a 10% move. And in this tough market, a 10% gain is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? So I think the 17 call on GameStop sounds good. Look, for me, I think all we're going to do is bounce between these five lines. Literally, all five moving averages are now in this little cluster right here, right? Until this loses 430, I have to assume we're going to live between 430 and 520. And hey, for some people, that's a good trade. You buy as close as you can to the bottom, you sell as close to the top, you wait for it to come back to the bottom, and then you sell it right back at the top, right? Like we're probably going to just ping pong within all five lines. At some point, we're going to violently break the top one, or we're going to violently lose the bottom one, right? So just watch it with these lines and let's see what volume picks up with. All right, the daily's not the prettiest, right? The weekly's just a little bit better. Like as I look at the daily, that's not a good, that's red over green and red over green, right? But again, just a little bit better than GameStop, I would say. So super quick. I do apologize for the super quick, a little busy on my end, but let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Hey, thank you so much.